I'm Karen McCarthy, and it's time to Karen-ize. Today's Wednesday when we talk about spiritual health, and I want to talk about Jeremiah 29:11 today. And that says, "For you know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So I probably go a little bit different than most people do on that verse. And I remember back in I call it my wild days. When I went to college, I think I may have mentioned this before. When I went to college, I didn't know anyone where I was, and I was super, super, super shy. So I basically hung out with my roommate and her friends who were party animals. And so I got into that partying mode. And I knew that it wasn't what God wanted for me, but I was kind of lost at that point, just so insecure and getting my security or my sense of worth from, partying, drinking, and guys and all that stuff, which was not a good thing. But I just kept putting off making myself right with God because I was like, but this is fun. This is what I like. And, if I go back to God, oh, it's going to be boring and I'm going to have to give up everything. And I thought that way for quite a while. And then when I did finally turn back to God, and I've talked about it before, that happened when my dad had a brain tumor, and the testimony of him and my mom and their church during that time just really drew me back. I all of a sudden realized that this void in my soul that I was trying to fill with all the wildness was actually a void that could only be filled by God. And once I filled it with God, I couldn't believe that I didn't even miss that other stuff. I mean, God doesn't ask us to give up something that's not good for us. So if he's asking us to give up something, it's because it's harmful to us. It's harmful to our body, it's harmful to our emotions, it's harmful to us spiritually. Whatever it is, it's harmful. And what he has in place of that is just so much better. So much better. I mean, I've never regretted turning back to God and turning my life over to him. And I think I may have said this in a previous video a while back, probably quite a while. But I remember a friend of mine had kind of done the same thing. And one day she said, I kind of want to go to the disco. And I'm like, really? And she's, yeah, I want to go to the disco. I think I want to do that again. We could barely stand 15 minutes. Just the atmosphere there and the, what do you want to call it? The promiscuity that was rampant in that room at the time and all of that, it just didn't even feel right to us anymore. So that was kind of a learning experience for us, and it was a good one because we realized that we didn't really crave those things anymore. And I'll tell you something, I've heard people say, that they don't want to hang out with Christians because they're boring. Well, I don't think Jesus was boring to hang out with. And I can imagine that he and his disciples had a great time joking and hanging around when they weren't, ministering to the crowds. And I know that if you were to hang out with my Christian friends and I, we do more laughing and we have more fun than I ever did back in those days. And we don't have to worry about a hangover or wondering what we did or anything like that. So if you're on the fence about whether you want to walk with God or whether you want to stay doing what we call the things of the world, I would really encourage you to think about turning your life over to God and, living your life the way he wants us to, because it's the way that is the best for us. He really does have good plans for us and wants good things for us. I was going to say something and it went right out of my head. Anyway, you won't regret it, I promise. And if you're in the neighborhood, come hang out with me and my friends. We'll have a great time. Anyway, God's blessings on you, and we will talk to you next time.